Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As always, you know the drill. It's Lala_Mzolo, and this is apparently the fun spot. This is apparently where, yeah, a place to be on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for those who've been liking, subscribing, commenting, and also sharing some of the conversations we've been having on this channel. So again, not a very excitable video today. Again, more of on the maybe not somber, but on a serious note. So I mean, some of you guys might have watched the previous video, and that video was basically a reflection on a specific day during the Womxn conference last week. And the whole mood of the country really is around, at the moment, xenophobic attacks and gender-based violence. So I suppose today's video, and the reason for this particular video, is I want to talk to the guys. I want to just have a quick chat with Gents, because it's a lot, guys, and there's not enough of us talking. There's not enough of us having conversations. There's not enough. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys are having conversations one-on-one, having conversations in your various WhatsApp groups. Maybe you've taken the conversation offline. I'd like to believe that. I'd like to hold that view and that hope that away from social media, away from public conversations, maybe guys are actually having these kinds of conversations. But from my experience over the last 2 weeks, I don't think we are. I don't think we're honest with ourselves about the seriousness of the issue. And I don't think we're also honest enough about how hectically at the center we are to the issue. So the rape stats are ridiculous. Like it honestly makes no sense sometimes when you think about it. 1 in 3 women by a certain age will have been sexually assaulted or raped in this country. 87% of those assaults are by people they know. So there's always this understanding or misconception that people who perpetrate rape are some random stranger on the streets with scars on his face, just like some creepy looking dude who would do something this hectic and this horrible and this awful. But stats say otherwise. Stats say it's the people you know, it's us, it's me, it's my friends, it's my circle, it's my network. Those are the people committing these hectic things, and we're not having this conversation enough. We're not being honest enough as gents. We're like, what are we doing about it? Beyond the gents, let's do better, beyond the hashtag, beyond the lipstick, beyond the wearing heels, and even beyond marches that I've seen some guys organizing and doing. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's tangible? What's the work? What work are you putting in as a guy? So now I'm just talking to, if you're a guy and you're watching this, what is the work that you're putting in? What is since the last 2 weeks? What is it that you've changed? What is it that I have changed? These are questions I'm asking myself as well. Because I think when we understand that we are the root cause, when we understand that we are what's causing this panic and this pain, when we realize that we're at the center of it, there's maybe more of an urgency within me to act. We're always asking our 16, 15 twos to do the work when it comes to dismantling racism. We're always like, you've got the privilege, you've got the power, you've got the resources. What are you as a white person living in South Africa doing to dismantle your white privilege so that I as a black person can enter the space and be on equal footing and equitable footing with you? And that's the question I feel women are asking us as guys, is, wena ntobeko, what are you doing? You know? Like, how are you creating a safer space for me? How are you actively changing the way you think? How are you actively engaging with different content that challenges your preconceived ideas that you've grown up with, you've been nurtured with and been cultured into believing are norms? But these ways of thinking and the ways we've been brought up are giving us results of such high levels of gender-based violence and high levels of rape and sexual assault. So obviously the way we've been thinking about gender dynamics is incorrect, and it's actually it's harmful. So what am I doing? Just as the same question I ask a white person who says they want to do more, they want to engage. It's okay, what's your personal work? What are you actually doing in your personal capacity? How are you unraveling and starting to undo the shit and the nonsense that you thought was true about black people, and you now realize you need to unlearn? And so the same question to us as guys is, what are we doing? And I don't think enough of us are having these conversations, either within group settings or on our own one-on-one. I don't think enough of us are engaging with different content, reading material, different videos that ask us these hard questions. Like, we've, as niggas, we've been brought up in this, we've been coddled in a way, is that the right word? As we've grown up, to not have to engage our emotion, not have to engage how our actions affect others around us. There's a lack of empathy within guys as in general. And so for us to be a solution and no longer be the problem, is we need to ask ourselves these questions. We need to ask ourselves more of these things, and we need to interrogate our hearts a lot more. And so I this is a plea. So, because it can't just be business as normal after this, you know? Otherwise it's going to be a cycle. Last year, with Karabo's disappearance, it was a similar kind of thing where people were like, oh, this is an issue, this is a problem. And then Men Not Trash was a hashtag. It was last year, 2017. And again, guys responded differently to it. And we're here now again, 2019. A different person now has been lost, and different persons lost their life. And then we saw the list come out, but the reaction from us as guys again has been the same. Reaction of apathy. Like a simple thing, like we tried to organize a movie screening last week on Saturday. So for guys, come through, let's watch a movie that talks about patriarchy, a documentary that talks about patriarchy, let's have a discussion afterwards, and no bite. Also try to organize a reading list for guys to start engaging content that's slightly different to what they might be used to. And again, 2 or 3 guys asked for the reading list. But it just feels like a pattern. It's easy to tweet, Gents, let's do better. 2 weeks later, have we done better? I think we need to start understanding how serious and how different this problem is for us compared to women. Like a small example of how different our world realities actually are. I was in Joburg, I was with a friend of mine. It was a very tight space. We're all squashed in, moving around. You know, like it's like a party or whatever. And someone bumped me. And as we're walking out, I said to a friend of mine, I was like, you're like in these kind of spaces like where so many people play and you can't really move around. Whenever someone bumps me, the first thing I check is my phone. I'm like, okay, my phone's still in my pocket, because you know, like it's pickpocket central. And she just turned around and said, well, the first thing I check is my drink, like to see if someone spiked my drink. And I was just like, wow, it's such a different reality. You know, like, so it's things like that. Like, it's the environments we create as guys. And it's an environment that we enable as guys. And we need to have these conversations offline. We need to have the conversations online as well. But we just need to start doing something. We need to start doing shit. We need to start moving forward. Like, wait, also sit in the discomfort of knowing that you are a perpetrator or an enabler in whatever space. don't be so quick to be defensive when people say men are trash. Examine why you would be a trash human being. Like, okay, men are trash, whatever. What have I done to contribute to the trashiness of men? And then just start to, listen. Let's listen. Let's not engage in conversations to quickly rebuttal or throw the idea of false accusation. Like, just listen, you know? You don't have to argue in every circumstance. You don't have to argue in every situation. Just listen. Like, let's read. There's so much. And I want to do a video in a few weeks where there's some practical things that I think we should do. And I'm still working out certain things. Because I want to say let's do this, but actually it's also trash and not going to lead us anywhere. But I do want us to engage with the content. I do want us to start doing things at a bit more practical level. So I will do that in a couple of weeks, and I'll have a couple of people join me as well, so we can have a full conversation about it, and we can cover as many aspects and bases as possible. But yeah, so just the first thing for me is let's engage with ourselves. Let's do the introspection. Let's do the work internally. Like, again, how are you contributing to the problem? What's your role? May not be a perpetrator, but how are you enabling a culture? How are you encouraging a culture and a behavior? And how can you start to change those things, and how can you start to work those things? So, like, yeah, I know there's not a lot of practical things I've said in this video, but for me, I feel like this is the start of something, and moving forward we can have these conversations a lot more. And I want to encourage people that want to come up with solutions. Let's collaborate and let's come up with solutions to change the culture, to change how we are as men in society. And I know some guys with great ideas, but let's actually do the things. So again, thank you for coming, thank you for joining, and particularly to the guys who might watch this, let's actually start doing the work. Let's change culture, let's change our mindsets. Let's take ownership of our own roles with this mess. And once we've taken ownership and we've started doing work in our personal capacity, in our personal spaces, we can also start to influence our networks, our groups of friends, our families, and begin to change those environments. Because at the end of the day, the most you can do is change yourself, and then hopefully affect change for the next person. I can't promise to change the world, but I at least promise to keep myself accountable and those around me accountable. So let's start with doing that. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for joining, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Please like, please subscribe. Please let's engage in the comments as well. If you have any thoughts, any ideas that you want to share, you think would be beneficial, if you know any societies or organizations you think would be beneficial, please drop it in the comments, or otherwise you can inbox or DM me on Instagram or on Twitter or Facebook as well. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much thank you guys for joining. Please like, please subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next video, which might be next week or the week after. Cheers.